Former Majority Leader of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Chidi Lloyd, has formally defected to the People's Democratic Party from the All Progressives Congress. Lloyd made the announcement at a special reception held in his honor at the Rivers State Government House, Port Harcourt. The former House leader also apologized to a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Michael Chinda, over the confrontation between members of the House in 2013, leading to a severe injury on Chinda.
I just came to tell you, Excellency, that my people are happy. That we honestly, they do not expect anything from this administration because of my indiscretion. But thank God for who you are. Thank God for your benevolence. Thank God for being the governor that you are. The governor of the good, the governor of the bad, the governor of the ugly. I doubt if I would have been this benevolent because of the kind of politics we play these days. But we thank God for it. And Your Excellency, my people have asked me to say to you that we will henceforth join hands with you in the People's Democratic Party.
On his part, Governor Nyesom Wike, while receiving the former APC chieftain, spoke on the need for Rivers politicians to eschew politics of bitterness.
Like you are saying, today is one of my happiest days. Because what you didn't know, my relationship with him and the chief of staff, that's where we were, before Satan came to take him. But because of our prayers, we have defeated Satan. So my dear mothers and sisters, the primary ruler, I want to thank you people. I want to thank you people. The proclamation, it touched me. That relationship I had with Chidi, with my chief of staff and the rest, will be restored back. So let nobody say that, because now he has come. Where he was, they will be saying that, they will deceive him. I'm like, look, don't bother. If they say I will deceive, I will start with this road. I will do this light. Then they will know that nobody deceiving any.
Meanwhile, the caretaker Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has reconciled the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Tumi Pre Silva. This was the outcome of the meeting called by the chairman of the committee and governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni, with the duo at the National Secretariat of the party as part of the ongoing efforts to reconcile aggrieved members of the party. The reconciliatory efforts paid off when Amechi and Silva finally agreed to work together after the closed-door meeting. Speaking for the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Ekini Nabena, said both Amechi and Silva have agreed to work together to reposition the ruling party in the South-South geopolitical zone of the country. The faction of the All Progressives Congress, led by Isaac Wobola, has raised an alarm over an alleged move by the Rivers State Governor to influence the recommendation of his wife, Justice Suzette Nyesom Wike, as Court of Appeal Justice. Spokesman of the APC faction, Obonna Wuke, made the allegation in a statement circulated in the media. Wuke said the move is against the age-long tradition of seniority in the judiciary.
This development is obviously helping to create a needless dichotomy within the state judiciary. We are worried that unless the Wike-led administration is called to order, these actions will destroy the sanctity and integrity of the judiciary, which is seen as the last hope of the downtrodden. Accordingly, we call on all well-meaning Rivers people to speak up. As stakeholders, we cannot sit idly by and watch as our democratic institutions are desecrated. The state belongs to all of us. We therefore have a duty to defend our institutions against an invasion that is capable of undermining the future of our democracy.
In another development, members of local vigilante in Diob River State say the planned withdrawal of arms from OSPAC and other vigilante groups in the state will expose communities to more danger. Spokesman of the Diob Vigilante Group, Prince Amatari, made the observation while reacting to the directive by the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, on the withdrawal of arms from unauthorized persons. He said the move will re-engineer the minds of the hoodlums who are already in their hideouts. Amatari said the police should first withdraw arms from Boko Haram and other terrorist groups across the nation before withdrawing from the local vigilante groups who he said were complementing the efforts of security agencies.
The statement from the IG to retrieve arms from OSPAC and other vigilante group here in Rivers State is another ploy to expose our community to crime and criminality. That the IG and his family is well protected with numerous armed men, while the common man life and property is exposed, always vulnerable to the vulnerability of criminals, if not the vigilant. That the statement from the IG will give another edge to criminals who are in their hideout, who will be start coming out, thereby increasing crime rate in our community. Let the IG first and foremost retrieve these arms from the Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, and other criminals, which will go a long way to reduce crime and killing in our society. When this is done in our society will be crime-free, and the need for the vigilante will no longer be there.
In another development, a dead body of an unidentified man has been found beside a drainage within Injamanze Street in Mile 1, Dio, Port Harcourt. Our correspondent who visited the scene reports that the man, who is believed to be a destitute, died on a wheelchair and has been evacuated from the scene. The River State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association says proper preparation and adequate investment in the sector should be one major lesson government and corporate organizations should learn from the coronavirus pandemic. State Chairman of NMA, Dr. Aliko Chizundu, was reacting as reports emerged that some state governments could provide testing kits for coronavirus. Dr. Chizundu also pointed out that the practice of personal hygiene to ward off the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have learned a number of lessons. Expectedly, I should expect so, that we should get better prepared, particularly in the health sector. The government globally, nationally, should invest more resources in the health sector, prepare for the unknown. But also importantly is the fact that we, the populace, will need to improve on our basic personal hygiene. For example, we've learned that we should wash our hands often. So it would be nice that even post-COVID-19 pandemic, that we maintain those basic health behaviors that will enhance our health.
The United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF, in collaboration with the River State Government and Interfaith HIV/AIDS Coalition of Nigeria, have taken the sensitization on the current fight against COVID-19 pandemic to communities in the state. Our correspondent reports that the groups gathered stakeholders from Ruma Logu and Choba communities in Obiakwa local government area to sensitize them against community transmission of the virus. State coordinator of the Interfaith HIV/AIDS Coalition, Nathaniel Luke, who spoke in an interview with our correspondent Uchendu Ejiowo at the Risk Communication and Community Engagement, appealed to members of the public to practice all the COVID-19 protocols.
So what prompted by your question is the community transmission which the government has observed. So UNICEF is helping the government and the civil society organizations to go into the communities, to sensitize the community for the purpose of stopping the community transmission of the virus. Because of the way this COVID-19 is spreading, we are now seeing community transmission of the disease. So the government see it important to go into the communities and sensitize members of the communities.
On his part, Gift Nwaru, who spoke on behalf of the representatives of the two communities, says the sensitization has exposed them to several ideas about the coronavirus and assured that the message will taken back to the people at the grassroots.
What has happened today is a clear message to the people in the rural area. First of all, that the coronavirus is real, and then also to sensitize people on how to prevent its spread in the rural communities. One thing this gathering has done today is to encourage the people in the rural area to continue to maintain and observe every necessary health advice in course of not just reducing but fighting the virus, such as washing of hands regularly with soap and running water, maintaining social and physical distancing, compulsory use of face mask, and then very importantly, avoid large crowds.
The Enugu State Police Command has explained what transpired between security operatives and members of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, which led to casualties in the state. The Enugu State Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Abdurrahim, has briefed newsmen in Enugu, said the IPOB members attacked officials of the Department of State Services who were at the area for official duty. Abdurrahim said on learning about the incident, he deployed more of his men to rescue the DSS officials and also effect arrest, adding that 2 persons were killed by the IPOB members.
The genesis of the problem was that members of the secret police DSS were there on their own operation. That was early in the morning. So they came under attack and the IPOB took away 2 of their officers. So having got this more information, I quickly mobilized men to go for the rescue. We were lucky, we rescued 1 alive, and I had to seek for reinforcement from other sister security agencies. So the men from Garrison Command at 2 Div were at hand. Men from Air Force Base under the leadership of the Air Force Base Commander, Air Commodore Ebre, were all there. So that was how we cordoned the area. The general area was very vast. We were able to go into one house where they went and, took the people hostage.
You're listening to The World News on Today 95.1 FM. After the break, we'll be back with more stories from foreign and sporting segments. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
News, weather, and I get my information top of the hour every hour.
Not tomorrow, not the day before.
Oh yeah, it's go time.
This is Today.
Welcome back, and you're still listening to the World News here on Today 95.1 FM. 14 minutes has gone past the hour 7. The federal government has released 14.9 billion naira for the payment of accrued rights for retirees under the contributory pension scheme. The National Pension Commission, who disclosed this in a statement, said the amount will cover 4 months' arrears. The federal government has insisted that the recent amendment to the 6th edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code by the National Broadcasting Commission as part of ongoing reforms in the sector was in the best interest of the country. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, said this at the NBC's 28th anniversary and 6th annual lecture in Abuja. Mohammed said government's expectation was that the ongoing reforms, including the amendment of the code, would revolutionize the nation's broadcasting industry. The new NBC amendment, which has attracted controversies, prohibited exclusivity of sporting rights and raised the fine for hate speech to 5 million naira. Senate members of the University of Lagos has elected Professor Folashade Ogunshola as the acting vice-chancellor of the school. Until her election, Professor Ogunshola was the deputy vice-chancellor of Development Services. She is to act in the new role until the outcome of a special visitation panel set up by the President, Muhammadu Buhari. The University Senate election follows the federal government's directive. The university's pro-chancellor and chairman of council, Wale Babalakin, and vice-chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, recused themselves from the official duties pending the outcome of the panel. And now to the foreign scene. Talks between West African nations and Mali's new junta has ended without a deal on how the country should return to civilian rule following last week's coup. The military also said that ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, whose return to office had been initially demanded by the regional bloc ECOWAS, no longer wished to resume duties. The August 18 coup triggered shockwaves among Mali's neighbors, fearing that one of the region's most volatile countries would spiral into chaos. ECOWAS sent a high-level delegation to Bamako led by former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan to press its demands for the immediate return to constitutional order and focus on the transition to civilian rule. Earlier leader of ECOWAS delegation, Nigerian former President Goodluck Jonathan, who spoke to newsmen after meeting with with the military junta, said they have been able to agree on a number of points, but not yet on all the discussions.
Both the ECOWAS team and the military officers want the country to move on. We have reached a number of agreements, but we have not reached agreement in all the issues. And we don't want to give you piecemeal, half-assed information. We want to make sure that we conclude all the points so that we give you the information covering everything.
But spokesman of the military junta, Colonel Ishmael Wuge, told newsmen that there were discussions on both sides, given that at this stage, nothing has been set down, nothing has been decided, and that as far as they are concerned, the final architecture of the transition will be discussed and defined by the military. Elsewhere, the World Health Organization has estimated that 500,000 children lacked access to immunization from the wild polio virus in 2016. The Polio Eradication Program Coordinator, WHO Regional Office for Africa, Pascal Makanda, said this at a virtual media conference ahead of the official certification of Africa as a polio-free continent. The actual announcement of the certification of the eradication of polio in Africa will be attended by Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, philanthropist Bill Gates, and industrialist Aliko Dangote. On her part, WHO Regional Director for Africa, Motshidiso Moeti, said the designation of Africa as a polio-free continent was a memorable achievement. And on to the entertainment scene. The visual for Beyonce's Brown Skin Girl features appearances from Naomi Campbell, Lupita Nyong'o, Kelly Rowland, and Blue Ivy Carter. TMZ reports that just a few weeks after unveiling Black is King, Beyonce has gifted the wider world with a stunning video for Brown Skin Girl. Also, Beyonce uploaded the celebratory clip as a standalone visual on YouTube. And now to sports. After 6 months under arrest in Paraguay, former Brazil football star Ronaldinho is set for a hearing on charges of traveling with false documents. Judge Gustavo Amarilla is due to Ronaldinho and his brother, Roberto. The public prosecutor's office has recommended Ronaldinho pay a $90,000 fine for damage to society and is free to return to Brazil, where the former Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain player will also be expected to appear before a judge every 3 months for a year. After being held in a police station in Asunción, where the 2005 Ballon d'Or celebrated his 40th birthday on March 21st, the two men have been under house arrest for almost 5 months in a luxury hotel in the capital on bail of $1.6 million. And now to end the news, here's a summary of the major stories. Former leader of the River State House of Assembly, Chidi Lloyd, has apologized to Governor Nyesom Wike as he defects to the PDP. We told you that the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amenchi, and the Minister of Petroleum, Timi Praise Silva, have promised to reposition the APC in the South-South after reconciliation by the National Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress. We also told you that the federal government has released 14 billion naira accrued rights of retirees. And on the foreign scene, you heard that ECOWAS delegation meeting with Mali's military junta has ended in a deadlock. And that was the news as edited by Victor Exama. For comments and inquiries, do call 081-5341-8657 or 081-4434-3502. Or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Please don't forget, you need to take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. To have a good morning, I am Annie Abdul Salam.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
The hottest and latest news when it happens. Where it happens. And how it happens. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Voice of the people.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Officer, take. Officer, give me number. No time. Ma, they match am, they go.
What? You bribing the officer of the law? You under arrest. Let me see your papers. You can go. They're in order. Try safe, okay?
I don't understand though. No be the same country again. Officer reject bribe. Muna wake me from this sleep. Muna wake me. They arrested me yesterday. That yesterday, I go do my papers. See as I pass now. I pass without fear. You too, make you do wetin dey right. For we country to better, it dey for we hand. If you like, do like say you no hear am. To give or to take bribe na offense.
Una don hear am, abi? You hear am too, abi? You hear am. You hear am well. They themselves, they hear am.
Peace is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth, education, technology can build up, thereby making people very prosperous and happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for. All around the world. It's what I pray for. For my
Today 95.1 FM, good morning.
My name is Ifeanyi. I'm calling you from... Hello?
Yes, Today 95.1 FM, good morning.
My name is William. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, William from Port Harcourt, go ahead.
Talk radio.
You have a right to say no, right? All right.
I'm calling from Yenegua.
Okay, thank you so much from Yenegua.
We are the station that needs no introduction. Of course, you know, we give the best in news, sports.
You like football, right?
Entertainment, politics. In fact, call it talk.
Yes, we know there's a lot you want to hear, and that is why we talk about everything.
Talk radio.
We're right before you. It's just a dial away. This is your number one premium talk radio. Today, 95.1 FM. Voice of the people.
You can never plan the future by the past. He who has a right to live can bear almost anyhow. Lost time is never found again. It is the province of knowledge to speak, and it is the privilege of wisdom to listen. I don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. In the end. It is not the years in your life that counts. It is the life in your years. Make it count with us. Make it count with us at Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.
It's that time on radio. Let's take you into the life and times of men and women who inspire, role models who have shaped the world.
Did you know that Alfred Spieth was the first governor of the Old River State? Did you also know that he was appointed at the age of 24? Alfred Spieth was born on 30th July 1942 at Nembe, an Ijo tribe in the present-day Bayelsa State. His father and mother were initially primary school teachers before becoming employed as civil servants. His father was a distinguished postmaster before taking up the traditional chieftaincy stool of Omangi. Alfred started his primary school education in 1947 at Government School Boe, Cameroon. As part of requirement, Spieth needed to put his hand across his head to touch his ear to be properly registered for the infant class in 1948. He was later admitted to St. Joseph Secondary School, Sase, also in Cameroon. After schooling in Cameroon, he took a job with the Meteorological Department of the then Ministry of Transport, Lagos State. He later joined the Merchant Navy in 1961, and his brilliant performance gave him the opportunity to be trained at Britannia Royal Naval College, Dortmund, England in 1962. He was given the command of his first ship soon after his return to Nigeria in 1965. The political commotions in Nigeria led to the 1966 coup and counter-coup and the appointment of the 24-year-old Alfred Dietes Spieth as the military governor of Rivers State on May 27, 1967 by the then head of state, Colonel Yakubu Gowon. Alfred Dietes Spieth was also a member of the Supreme Military Council. Although unmarried at the time he was appointed governor, while serving as a military governor, he got married to Ethel and Victoria at different times, and after leaving Government House, he also got married to evangelist barrister Dr. Josephine Dietes Spieth. Dietes Spieth was recorded to have planned and executed many development programs and projects in the Old River State. In 1973, a correspondent of the Nigerian Observer, Mineria Makri, wrote an article about an impending teachers' strike, which was published on Dietes Spieth's birthday. Taking this as a deliberate insult, Dietes Spieth's head, Ralph Iwuwari, had the reporter's head publicly shaved and had him beaten with 24 lashes of cane. On July 29, 1975, the Murtala Mohammed coup overthrew Gowon's administration, and Dietes Spieth was stripped of the rank he worked so hard to earn and was asked to forfeit a total of 18 properties located in the government reserve area, Transamadi, Berokori Layout, Recreation Layout, and Ogunabali, all in Port Harcourt. All his protestation fell on deaf ears as he was unavoidably retired into penury. He reigns today as His Majesty Alfred Dietes Spieth, the Amanyanabo of Tuan Brass in Bayelsa State, a throne he has ascended since 1996.
Personality profile. Now you know.
What a goal! Hangs it up for Ronaldo. Oh my God!
Experience the glorious goals rush. The heated verbal jabs and even moments of madness. Experience the sensational swings, strokes and shots. The moments of victory and despair. Experience lights out on a majestic night in Singapore and a whole lot more.
On your premium talk news and sports radio station.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Listen to Sports Attack every weekday from 7:30 a.m. and Today Sports Live after the news update at 3 p.m. Stay tuned on Saturdays and Sundays for a bumper edition of Today Sports Live from 1 to 6 p.m. Experience sports in its entirety on your premium talk news and sports radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Beautiful morning to you all and welcome to Sports Attack on your premium talk news and sports radio station. Today 95.1 FM right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. My name is Wisdom Obina and I'll be your Superman in sports this morning. Fasten your seatbelts for another all-informative cruise through the ever-exciting world of sport.
For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Sports Attack on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. My name is Adekuri Odwan, Nigerian first ever world silver medalist in wrestling.
All right, we tee off. Aaron Nigeria Limited, an indigenous engineering construction company, will today begin the renovation of the long-abandoned football pitch of the Mushuda Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The repair is funded by billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote in partnership with the Sports Ministry. Aside the pitch regrassing, the company will also put in shape the lighting and scoreboard of the arena. The renovation is expected to be complete in 24 weeks. A top ministry official who spoke on the condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to speak on the issue said the reconstruction works would have commenced earlier but were delayed due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in March. And to chess, where international chess master Femi Balogun has lauded the Ochid Lekki Chess Club for a fine organization of a Keys Chess tournament held over the weekend in Lagos. Chess, like other sports, had been on break as a result of the global pandemic crisis, but with the federal government permitting the return of some non-contact sports, the Ochid Chess Club organized the mini kids tournament under strict COVID-19 protocols. Femi Balogun, who played against some of the kids, was impressed with the organization and adherence to the strict conditions of COVID-19.
What's happening here is like the return of the over-the-board chess observed. I think chess is gradually getting quite hard to enforce social distances among kids, but kudos everybody who are on mask.
For the postponed 2020 Games in Tokyo is set to be publicly displayed next month in the host nation of Japan. The display is happening months after the original April time was scheduled to be on a limited public display at Japan's J Village National Training Center in Fukushima. The icon was later to be available for viewing throughout April at an Olympic Museum near the Games main stadium in central Tokyo beginning on September. Virus Bolt, who turned 34 on Friday, is understood to have taken a test a few days ago, which returned positive yesterday. He's said to have gone into self-isolation. That was on Sunday, but as reported by Nationwide Radio XJ, it is unclear if he has been displaying symptoms of the virus. We do wish him well, I tell you. Let's move on to tennis. Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka survived tests at the Western and Southern Open, while Madison Keys and Petra Kvitova exited. Williams, the third seed at the WTA Premier Tournament, progressed after close to 3 hours on court in New York on Monday. Williams was taken to the brink before prevailing 7-6, 3-6, 7-6 against Aranzaros after 2 hours 49 minutes. Awaiting Williams, a two-time winner of the event in the last 16, is Maria Sakkari after the Greek 13th seed beat Yulia Putintseva 6-4, 7-6. Also, Osaka was also challenged before the Japanese fourth seed edged Karolina Mukova 6-7, 6-4, 6-2. After leveling the match, Osaka raced into a 4-0 lead in the deciding set on her way to victory. Osaka will next face 16th seed Diana Yastremska, who recorded a 7-6, 4-6, 6-3 win over Bernarda Pera. Arina Sabalenka, Johanna Konta, Annette Kontaveit, and Elise Mertens were the other seeds to have advanced. However, Madison Keys and Petra Kvitova were among the departures. In the male category, Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray progressed at the Western and Southern Open, while Dominic Thiem was crushed on Monday. Djokovic struggling with neck pain, and Murray moved into the last 16 with contrasting wins at the ATP 1000 tournament a day after withdrawing from the doubles due to neck pain. The injury seemed to bother Djokovic again during a 7-6, 6-4 victory over qualifier Ricardas Berankes. The 17-time Grand Slam champion required treatment numerous times before closing out a tough victory to improve to a 19-0 this year. Djokovic found himself behind in both sets, but Berankes was unable to consolidate any of his top 3 breaks of serve. Up next for Djokovic is Tennis Sandgren, who upset 15th seed Felix Ogo Alisime 6-7, 6-2, 7-6. Also, Andy Murray playing in his first tournament of 2020 overcame Zverev, Alexander Zverev, that is 6-3, 3-6, 7-5 in a tight battle. Murray also reached the last 16 at an ATP 1000 event for the first time since Madrid in 2017 when he was the world number 1. Murray will now face Milos Raonic, who was too good for Danny Evans 6-3, 7-5 with no seats left in their quarter of the draw. Thiem, the second seed, was on court for just 61 minutes as the Austrian was crushed 6-2, 6-1 by Filip Krajinovic. Krajinovic will meet Martin Fucsovic after the qualifier upset 14th seed Grigor Dimitrov 7-5, 4-6, 6-2. Denis Shapovalov fell to Jean-Leonard Struff for the first consecutive time, down 7-6, 3-6, 6-4, while Diego Schwartzman also made his second round exit. Defending champion and third seed Daniil Medvedev endured no problems in a 6-4, 6-4 win over qualifier Marcos Giron, while Karen Kachanov, Roberto Bautista Agut, Matteo Berrettini and John Isner also advanced. All right, in boxing, unified world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has urged Dillian White to find his instincts and must never give up. This comes after White was knocked out by Alexander Povetkin in 5 rounds on Saturday after flooring the Russian twice in round 4. It ends the 32-year-old's immediate hopes of a world title shot against WBC champion Tyson Fury. But Joshua, who knows how hard it is to fail, urges the body snatcher to come back stronger.
But like Dylan, he spent months and months in Portugal training, preparing, and something like that can happen. But I feel like the training doesn't only add up to this fight with Povetkin. He's got another how many years in the sport, so this is just a blip in the career. Dylan fights for himself. People would say loads of things now. You know, people are going to talk all sorts of stuff about Dylan's performance and stuff, but you know, Dylan's a fighter, so I stick with him as a fighter and say dust yourself off, get back up and go again.
All right, it now looks like the coast is clear for that man who we just heard his voice, Anthony Joshua, to take on Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury says he runs the game and cannot be forced to fight anyone or do anything. This comes after Dillian White's shock loss to Alexander Povetkin. Now, White had been the mandatory challenger for the WBC belt and was billed to face Tyson Fury after he clears the scores with former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder in a trilogy fight. There is already an agreement of a world unification bout between Tyson Fury and IBO, WBO and IBF world champion Anthony Joshua, with the big barrier being the mandatory fight with Dillian White, as WBC President Suleiman had ruled that Fury must face White before any other fights. That's after the trilogy. Now, Tyson Fury, are you pleased with the fact that Dillian White is now out of the way?
You know, not really, because they can't force me to do anything. I'm what you call the big dog in the game. I run the game, yeah? So no matter who sanctions what or tries to force me to do anything, the man who has the decision on what I'm going to do is Big Daddy Mac here, me, the Gypsy King. So it doesn't matter what someone says, I want you to do this and want you to do that. If I want to dance to the music, I will. And if I don't want to, then I change the channel, because I put on what I want to put on and what I want to listen to and do. You know, so it doesn't really matter who says what says what. You know, as fighters, we just want to fight whoever's the big fights out there. We want to put the big fights on.
You just have to pause a little bit and listen to him when he talks. Fury went on to state that all the big boxers need him more than he needs them, adding that he has absolutely nothing to lose.
I hurdling away with Dillian White, and if you don't fight Dillian White, you and Joshua won't fight. But the fact of the matter is, I don't need any of their fighters. They need me. You know, I'm the only undefeated world heavyweight champion that's left out there. All the rest have fell by the wayside and been chinned and knocked out and stopped and battered. So, you know, they need me. I'm a standalone Gypsy King giant, ruling the division, ruling the roost. And the biggest fight out there now is me and Joshua. So, you know, let's make it happen. Stop running away, stop making excuses, put your nuts in your handbag, and let's get to fight. You know, it is what it is. It's a boxing match.
I love Tyson Fury. I just can't hold that or hide that. Let's move on and talk basketball. The Los Angeles Lakers and Milwaukee Bucks cruised into a 3-1 series lead in the NBA playoffs on Monday. The Lakers made it 3 straight wins over the Portland Trail Blazers with a 135-115 victory, taking a 3-1. Anthony Davis posted 18 points before exiting due to back spasms, while Kyle Kuzma contributed 18 off the bench, while Joseph Nurkic had a double-double of 20 points and 13 rebounds. The Trailblazers lost star Damian Lillard to a knee injury. The Bucks grabbed a 3-1 lead in their Eastern Conference first-round series against the Orlando Magic thanks to a 121-106 win. Giannis Antetokounmpo, unsurprisingly, led Milwaukee with a double-double of 31 points and 15 rebounds, plus 8 assists. Chris Middleton struggled from the field, going 7 of 19, but still finished with 21 points and 10 rebounds. Monday's results, let me just run through that quickly. Milwaukee Bucks did beat Orlando Magic 121-106. Oklahoma City Thunder did beat Houston Rockets 117-114. Miami Heat, they were too hot for the Pacers, beating the Pacers. That's Indiana Pacers 99-87. The LA Lakers did beat Portland Trail Blazers, as I told you earlier, 135-115. But later on tonight, Luka Doncic inspired the Dallas Mavericks to draw level in their series with the Los Angeles Clippers. The crucial Game 5 of the Western Conference first round series will come up today. Will he be able to do it? The Mavericks up against the Clippers. That's all in all the sports. Let's talk football. All right, let's start off with this one. Former Gombe FA chairman Shuaib Gara Gombe has sensationally disclosed that Aisha Buhari, wife of the president, Major General President Muhammadu Buhari, wanted former Super Eagles forward Daniel Amokachi appointed as sub-sports minister. Buhari on August 20th appointed the former Everton star as a special assistant on sports, months after he was named the country's football ambassador by the president, Gara Gombe. While speaking on the Sports Breakfast show on Kenny's 104.1 FM on Monday, stated Aisha Buhari has always been fighting for those who participated in the husband's campaign to be compensated for a very long time. She has been fighting for Amokachi. Actually, she wanted Amokachi to be the Minister of Sports. Unfortunately, he couldn't get that position. So when the pressure was much on the presidency, he, plus Buhari, tried to appoint him as a football ambassador. When he was appointed as such, he was asked to report to Sunday Diary. He's been going to the ministry, doing nothing. And between the period that he has been there as football ambassador, he has done nothing. Amokachi deserves to be compensated. Buhari does not know Amokachi. Buhari knows his wife, who Amokachi worked with throughout the campaign. Nice revelation, I tell you. Let's move on and talk the Nigerian Professional Football League. Plateau United coach Abdul Meikaba says the success of the club this season can be attributed to the support from the management of the Jos-based side. Abdul Meikaba in the past qualified Wiki Tourist and Aqua United for the continent, and of recent also qualified Plateau United for the Champions League, making him one of the few Nigerian-based coaches to qualify 3 different teams for the continent.
First and foremost, I would say the support from the management to give us the support to prepare the team very early. It helps. Second, I would say, is our experience of my first season in Plateau United. Also, ginger us or motivate us to perform better this last season, because in the first season we have suffered a lot. So it makes us to work harder, and so that the season cannot repeat itself. At the end, I believe we got it right.
Ahead of the Champions League, Meikaba went further to add that he will be adding players to the team, but insisted that he will be keeping 95% of the squad.
Yes, very few, because I can say we have done very well last season. To me, I will keep 95% of that squad and continue with them, and that will help us to perform better this coming season. Even in the CAF Champions League, I believe it is the same football we are talking about. But the only area now I'm concerned about is where we lose some players. Some maybe wouldn't like to continue with us. Some have got offers for greener pastures somewhere else. We have to replace them, and we have to make sure that the replace is effective. And I believe the team will continue the way we did last.
Nigerian Football Federation is in talks with former Super Eagles winger Emmanuel Amunike about the position of technical director. Fillers from the Sunday Dankaro Football House in Abuja revealed that the NFF has approached Amunike, who is presently the director in charge of academics in Africa at Messer Lel Mekassa of Egypt, to consider accepting an appointment as the technical director following the expiration of Beatrice Berang's contract last June. Daniel Amokachi was in line to get the job last month, but it didn't work out after it emerged that he had been penciled for a bigger appointment by the federal government. All right, moving on to the Super Eagles. Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr says the difference between coaching Nigeria and other African teams lies in the language environment and discipline of the various countries. Gernot Rohr has coached different teams on the continent, including francophone countries such as Niger, Gabon, amongst others.
First difference is the language. Before I spoke only French, everybody, and now I had to switch. But different was also the environment, of course. Much bigger country, 195 million people. In Gabon I had 1.5 million. But the passion is everywhere the same. Different was also the big number of players I had in Nigeria, of course, to watch, to choose, and yes, was also a difference in the mentality. I think the francophone countries, they have to learn more discipline. We have other targets also. The ambition is much bigger in Nigeria.
This impressive surge of players has helped the German tactician. Rohr, Nigeria having many players, does it make your job easy?
So my answer is yes and no, because the work is more difficult to make the good choice. So and sometimes some players deserve to come, but I cannot take them because I have only 23 in my list.
That's true.
And so it's difficult to make a choice. But it's easier to have quality in your team, and that's why it's a good thing. The quality of the team is not only the individual quality of the players, is to play together, have this collective sense of football, and to have this solidarity which we showed in so many games.
Well, Rohr was speaking with German-based journalist Omar Katuba. Well, he went on to disclose what Victor Osimhen discussed with him before making the big money move to Napoli.
You know, I hope he will succeed in Napoli. And before he went there, he wanted to speak with me about it. That he wanted my advice. And to have the guarantees. And yes, Ali to against very poor. I hope.
With the lads, Osimhen tweeted, and Paul Onuachu in the pecking order, and a loan move to Guingamp could help him play on a regular basis. They linked up with Club Brugge and has confirmed Ebere Chieze is close. Clubs will not be obliged to release their players for duty in September's international window if it will mean a period of quarantine. FIFA has revised its rules after consultation with UEFA, whose member associations are involved in next month's international friendlies and Nations League matches. With the COVID-19 crisis still affecting daily life across the planet, football's governing body has introduced temporary measures to help to reduce the health risk to players and impact on clubs. Wolverhampton Wanderers are in advanced talks with Arsenal over a 4-year deal for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. The Midland side manager Nuno Espirito Santo is keen to strengthen both his central midfield and full-back options. The 20 at the club and potentially a future captain at Manchester United.
Bruno is a very good boy. He works a lot and his approach was always positive. Historically, Manchester United captain is a really.
He went on to make 5 Premier League appearances, scoring on his debut in the 4-0 win against Norwich in June. Mari, meanwhile, moved to North London from Brazilian side Flamengo in January on an initial loan with an option to make the deal permanent, something the Gunners have decided to take up. Still with Arsenal, they've moved a step closer to signing Gabriel Magalhaes from Lille, with the 22-year-old underwent a medical yesterday in London. The Gunners have been finalizing a 5-year contract with the Brazilian defender at their London Colney training base after he arrived in the capital yesterday morning. Arsenal agreed a fee believed to be around £25 million with Lille last week, and Gabriel is now set to become their second signing of the summer after the arrival of Willian from Chelsea. Manchester City chairman Khaldoon Al-Mubarak has confirmed the club intends to bring in further transfer market reinforcements as they aim to take back the Premier League title-based Italian financier Massimo Bocchicchio convinced 8 people, including Conte, to invest in his company Kidman. Bocchicchio had promised high-yield returns, and the report details Conte to the Champions League group stages. And former Barcelona and Brazil star house arrest in Paraguay after nearly 5 months. Ronaldinho, a keeper yesterday, while Ronaldinho will have to pay a $90,000 fine. His brother was fined $110,000. I personally feel is the most entertaining footballer in history. And with that story, I call it a wrap on today's edition of Sports Attack. Thank you so much for your time. The sports crew will be back at exactly 3 p.m. for another edition.
It is not